If he intends to ignore what the courts say, this country will potentially find ourselves in a constitutional crisis.
That is a constitutional crisis. That is a crisis for our democracy.
Most serious constitutional crisis.
Clearest sign that we might be creeping towards a constitutional crisis.
Yeah, it's a constitutional crisis.
Basically, we're in a constitutional crisis, even though there isn't a complete clear definition.
It's a constitutional crisis.
Suggests that they are on the cusp of a constitutional crisis.
Democrats to keep calling it a crisis, a constitutional crisis.
You really do have a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
The constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
The constitutional crisis.
A constitutional crisis.
That is a genuine constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
A constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
There's this whole question of, is it a constitutional crisis? Yes, it is. But we can't just keep saying constitutional crisis, constitutional crisis. Nobody knows exactly what that means.